man, I'm glad we picked up Tekken.
Hell yeah. Let me just... Oh, there's no booklet.
Oh, hey, can you pull in over there? Quick, put that down. You're supposed to be driving.
Yeah, my bad.
Jesus Christ.
I thought you were driving.
No, you're driving. Pull in there.
Okay.
Pull in there. I'm hungry.
Yeah.
I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
boy. Oh, boy. Oh, look. Look at the menu. Oh, boy.
Hey, can I help you?
Yeah. What do you want? You go ahead.
Let me get a chicken sandwich and a Frosty.
You get a Frosty? Oh, what flavor Frosties they got? What's on there?
I don't know.
Can I
chocolate, vanilla.
Can I get the
Strawberry.
the large roast
I'm sorry,
beef?
did you want chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Chocolate,
Yeah.
Chocolate. One chocolate?
Yeah.
Two.
Oh yeah, two.
Could I get a
Two
large roast beef? No cheddar. Large roast beef. I think I want the apple pie and curly fries. Curly fries, of course.
Okay.
Large cola. Large. I think that's it.
Extra cheddar?
No cheddar. None.
No cheddar.
Yeah. I think that's it. You want? Is that?
Yeah. I think that's it. If we could just get the total, we'll pull around.
Yeah. Hello?
Heard you got Tekken.
What?
Huh? Hey, wait a minute. Is that zero?
Well. Heard we're finally done running from this ass whooping.
He's following us. What are you doing working here?
What do you mean? I don't work here.
4716, please pull around second window.
I'm scared.
That's it. I'm pulling up.
Excuse me.
Yes?
Excuse me.
Excuse me, sir. Please do not tap on the glass.
My dad. Hey, is there a gentleman that works back there? Dark hair, strong, nice beard. Name goes by Marco sometimes Zero. Does he work here?
Sir, I'm sorry. I don't.
Probably carrying
No,
a
it's
fight
just me,
stick.
sir. I don't feel comfortable.
Are you
listing
sure
any
there's
of our
nobody
team
else back
members'
there?
names.
Let me
No,
look
sir,
in there.
it's just me, sir.
Zero.
Please.
Hell?
Zero.
Sir,
All right,
You're leaning
All
across.
right.
Come on. You're
So
cramping me.
let's go.
Scoot back.
Just drive.
Scoot back. Jeez. All right. Wait, we haven't got our food yet.
Oh, fuck. Back this shit up. Yo, who was that guy? Next time, let's just use the app.
Yeah, good call. That was weird.
That was weird. I don't know when Zero's gonna get home. Oh, he just texted me. He said that he's hanging out with his wife and he's gonna get on soon. So we probably got time. We probably got time to get a recording in here.
Yeah, would you yammer for a little
Who's
bit?
Your Main? Yeah. Hello, folks. Welcome to Who's Your Main? Who is your main?
Yoshimitsu.
My main is me, Jared, the co-host of Who's Your Main? And who's your main?
I'm Anthony.
Yeah. A lot of things happened this week. Main thing is, the weird thing was we thought we saw Zero at the restaurant there. That was weird.
Yeah, who was that guy?
I don't know what happened there. If we're hallucinating, I don't know.
Maybe that's what it is.
But I will say I finally finished Fallout New Vegas, 100%.
Yeah.
Got all the achievements. Saw all the companion endings. Saw all the endings. There'll be an episode on that for sure. 10 out of 10 game for me. I don't know if it's a 10 out of 10 for everybody, but for me.
Yeah, I think that's a rare instance of... Cause it's such a weird thing to try to pitch to somebody because it is an RPG. But but so much of the game is based off of how you interact with the world. You know, whether you want to be kind of this diplomatic person who goes around and talks to everybody and interacts with all of the different factions and all of that stuff, or if you just want to be like a crazy murder hobo and you just want to be a guy with a gun, you can be that too. And so it really is like the perfect marriage of an action game and a RPG. You know, we've been talking about that all week, about how Square Enix and all of that stuff have kind of shifted away from it. I really think this game in 2010 did a better job of storytelling than Mass Effect, and I think it did a better job of doing an action game than modern Square Enix games. So, I mean, it really is. It's my favorite franchise of all time. I really do love it.
We've got like a double feature in the future for the folks at home with the Mass Effect episode we were supposed to do weeks ago, months ago, maybe.
Yeah, months ago now.
So, yeah, that's good. But the Fallout one's coming for sure. I don't know why we didn't get around to the Mass Effect one. Probably because we were started chomping at the bit to play Fallout. And then once we got started in that, it was just all downhill. I couldn't stop playing it. We were talking about that, the gamer depression, the show hole, the game hole of video games, where you finish a game and then you just have like this depression, and you're looking at your like mountains of games to play, and you're like, I don't know to play anything. I don't know. I don't know what to play. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how dutiful we're going to be on the sharing the links and stuff like that, but there was a Twitter story about I want to say the research came from the University of Texas. That might be wrong. But they essentially did a study, and it wasn't just talking about video games, but that was one of the mediums that they used. And essentially what it said was your brain can't differentiate the difference between like the stressors of real life interactions and made up interactions. And so the stress that you feel from finishing a book or finishing a video game series that you poured a lot of time and energy into, it's the same reaction as if you had just lost like a close friend, not lost them like they passed away, but like lost them like, they're moving away and you won't get to see them anymore. It's the exact same stress response. And I just thought, like, we genuinely feel that. You and I both are very, I guess, receptive to that feeling of like post-game, not really post-game depression, but like post-game low, where you're like, I just want to keep playing it even though I'm not really having fun anymore. So you try to start a new game and it's like, I don't really want to be doing this. I need to move on. And then you do eventually move on and you just kind of like roll into the next game. I don't know what that is. I think that legitimately means that we're crazy, but whatever.
I think we found the loophole. The loophole was to finish the game and then immediately start a new game in that game. So like in Fallout, I would just immediately roll a new character and then just play up to a certain point and be like, okay, I'll be back to play this later. And then it's like a loophole. It's like, oh yeah, we're not really leaving. We're not really done. We did this with Baldur's Gate 3 too. I did it with Drin.
Yeah.
Well, we finished our playthrough, immediately started up, got to the Druid Grove or whatever. And then you and I, we finished our playthrough. Same thing. Started an honor mode run, got to the Druid Grove. Then we're like, oh, well, let's play something else for a little bit. We'll come back to this honor mode run. Both were abandoned. I think that's the loophole. That's the trick to finishing a game. I feel like that I get to the end of games and I put it off. I like find other things to do. I'm like, well, maybe I could 100% something else. Maybe I could go, oh, there's probably a bunch of quests I haven't seen. Maybe I better go do them. And I really didn't finish the DLC correctly. Maybe I better go back and play it again, just real quick.
I legitimately think, because you and I were kind of at the same pace throughout the whole game. We were doing different sections at different times, but like as far as the main story progression, you and I were pretty close. And then I just powered through and finished the game, and you did exactly what you're just describing, which is like, well, let me go help out these companions. I need to see all of the companions. And that made sense. It was your first time through. I had already seen all that stuff. I didn't need to see it. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And then I think I was the one that told you that you needed to do the DLC before you did the final quest, because there's no going back. Once you finish the game's over. So you're like, okay, well, I need to do all the DLCs. And then it just kind of kept stretching longer and longer. You started trying out different weapons and different armors and all that stuff. But you're right. It's like that game is so unique in the sense that you could go about it so many different ways and get so many different experiences. But that's true of every single faction and every single little town and quest that you come across. It's so crazy how much sandbox exploration the game allows you to have, both with like the skills that you have and also the perks that you've taken, where you can really solve things based on your character. It's not, you're trying to fit into this pigeonholed linear ending, which is kind of like what Fallout 4 does, where every solution is you fight, every solution is you shoot your way out of it. This game, you can talk your way out of it. You can use your skills. You can use, medicine, repair. All of that stuff has real dialogue influence. And I love that, man. That makes creating a character feel so special and unique.
Oh, yeah. I love that. There's so many aspects of this game that it was just a good time. It was fun to make a build. It was fun to try out the different weapons. There's so many different weapons. It's really funny. I was shying away from melee and unarmed, even unarmed is pretty addictive in this game. There's so many like little nuances to it that makes it really fun. But you can still do tried and true, just shotgunning people or being a cowboy with a revolver. And I could just play through it 100 times, I think, easily. It would be fun every time. I think that's why I went for the 100%, to try to like put it to rest. Be like, you stay down. I got other games I got to play right now. You stay down. And it's like, just grabbing my leg, trying to pull me back into it. You need to do the super mutant run. You have to. You can hear the call of his name. I don't know his name.
I genuinely think the only thing that could get me to, because like you said, I think this was meant to be sort of like a put it on the shelf for a long time playthrough, where we were both going for I think originally you weren't going for the platinum.
No. No.
And then as you played, you realized that this was going to be a special game that you did want to do it for. I knew from the get-go that that's what I wanted. But I think the only thing that could get me to come back to this game at this point is if there was multiplayer, and it was like your big super mutant and my ghoul traveling around the Mojave Wasteland and seeing what kind of chaos we could get into. I think that would be an incredible playthrough. I don't know. That game is so special to me because I remember when I first played it, I was in college, and I had literally just got done playing Fallout 3, and I was like, I love Fallout. I'm ready for more. Let's do it. And I played through it, and I was like, this is incredible. But it's kind of the same thing that I got with Final Fantasy VII, where it's like, this is incredible. I don't want to ruin it by playing it over and over again, so I'm going to shelve it. And I told you this. I think this is my third playthrough ever of this game, and it came out in 2010, so, wherever the math falls on that. But, like, this game is so good that I don't want to ruin it by, like you said, playing it over and over and over and over and over again to the point where it becomes mundane or repetitive.
Yes, I will accept the invite to New Vegas multiplayer server on Discord. Yes.
Excuse me?
Yes.
Excuse me?
Yes, I will join that Discord. Yes. Yes, it's the fucking notification. Yes, there is a multiplayer. Yes, we need to get your computer fixed. Yes.
You guys are just tempting me. That's what it is. Everybody is like, oh yeah, let's get your computer fixed. You could do this. Fine. You know what? Is that what it's going to take? Is you guys bad? First it was Tekken. Now it's my computer.
Yeah.
You guys just peer pressuring me into fixing my stuff.
Different things.
Yeah, and doing things.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to. I would totally do that. I know there's a multiplayer for Morrowind. I would love to do that one too, because we really could be orc to orc and necromancer.exe. And that would also be fun. I think the New Vegas run would be ridiculous though, because you'd be like, all right, what we're going to want to do is sneak in. And I'm already going, charge! Want them to see!
In all seriousness, most of the characters that I make, it's the same guy, right? We've talked about this before. I just make my necromancer over and over again. Fallout is such a unique world because, it's not set in that classical fantasy setting. And so it strips. So we've talked about this before. When you take something away from you or I's character, that almost is more of a boon than it is a bane, because you and I can adapt so well to that. And so you strip magic away from a necromancer. What do you get?
Yeah.
Well, you get a ghoul.
With a laser.
You get this guy who's just like standing in radiation, soaking it all in and being like, that'll top me off. And then you just start blasting these laser beams and blowing everything up. And it's like, it's still my guy. That's still my power fantasy. You've taken away the main aspect, and it's like, good. Like, that's fine with me.
Yeah. What do you mean? Basking in the energy that destroyed the world? Is that what you meant?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean firing the energy out of a long metal rod that's been encrusted with ruins to shoot the green magic energy that... Yeah, I see the vision.
Eldritch Beam, yeah.
Eldritch Blast.
you were trying to get some of the last few achievements, and you had a classic line that cracked me up. The achievement was you had to... It was like kill 10 or 20 or whatever animals with a Fat Man launcher, which for anybody that doesn't know, in the Fallout universe, a Fat Man launcher is a shoulder-operated, man-powered nuclear launcher.
Oh, fuck.
And you kept saying, why would anybody invent this? It kills the person who shoots it. And it's like, that's the Fallout universe. That, like, nobody says no to these stupid inventions. So they get made, and then it ruins everybody's lives. And they're like, who could have done this?
I don't know what you're talking about. I like how it just like fucking rolls it onto this, like, it's just a fucking like tray, and then it just pushes it off. Like,
it's literally a catapult. The first designs of it broke the shoulder of everybody that fired it because it was too much propulsion going forward, and it would just snap the shoulder of. That's why power armor was invented also.
Good.
Don't get me started on Fallout lore.
I really wanted an option to be able to throw it like a football.
But especially for your character who's like, why
that'd
use
be
machine?
great.
My arm perfectly good.
Down, set, blue 42, shotgun, set hike. And then I just die and I have to reload.
Oh my god!
I think you told me in Fallout 4 the super mutants run at you holding it like tucked in their arm like a football.
Yeah, they're called super mutant suiciders.
Oh, see, that would be me. The end. And so ends the tale.
Yeah, so ends the tale. I love it. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. Yeah. Fallout has just become this special, like, obviously the way that I view it is like, this is just fantasy, but in a different, in a science light.
Oh yeah.
We still got super mutants are still orcs. We've got undead as ghouls. We've got plenty of zombies with the feral ghouls. Then we have monsters. We've got like dragon-esque like creatures with the death claws. We've got the giant ants spitting fire. We've got those weird geckos. We've got the plant people. There's just so many like creatures that you would see it. The only thing it was missing was fucking slimes, which honestly, the centaurs, those things are so cursed that maybe that's the slime for Fallout. I don't know, but they got it all. I mean, you could count a goo pile from a plasma blast.
Oh, yeah,
that could be a slime. Right there it is.
Yeah,
that one enemy. Yeah, that was a man.
Ever since, it's exactly what you said. Everything is always tied back into kind of that Tolkien classical high fantasy era, and then you just pull from that. That's kind of the inspiration for all fantasy.
Sure, yeah.
I think you and I have written our own kind of subplot of all of this stems back to Stardew Valley and me peeling through wormholes to try to find the timeline where I'm married to Robin and happy with 2 kids, and like her and I are married and that like we're just ripping through games trying to find the right timeline, but we're never in the right one. So it's like, oh shoot, I landed in Fallout New Vegas again.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, you're right. I should write that into a fucking an epic. As us going through looking for the right timeline to get back to you married to Robin in Stardew Valley.
Y'all got any eels in here? Why the hell would we have eels? It's a desert. I'll get my own.
They yearn for megabombs to send forward to Jared and Anthony in the different universe. You must bring me the megabombs.
I can't remember if we told this story or not, but one of the very first times I was watching you play, at the start of the game, you get dynamite, and you were fighting against these Nightkin, which are super mutants that have become addicted to using stealth boys, and so they literally run around invisible. And one of them like bumped into you and started a fight, and you just started chucking dynamite at him. And it was like, I was like, oh yeah, like I carry two, I have kind of like my standardized loadout where I always have 2 grenades on me. I was like, oh yeah, he's throwing his 2 grenades. Then it became 4 grenades, and then it became 5, and then it became 10. And it was like, how many are you carrying?
Why won't you die? It was blowing us up.
Yeah.
Will you quit lighting those?
There's something scary in there.
Yeah.
It touched my foot.
I know it's in there. Excuse me. Sorry. Oh, no problem. Oh, shit. That's exactly what happened. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, the fucking 2 brain cells in my head started vibrating when I picked up fucking dynamite from the powder gangers at the beginning. I was like, this dynamite? like dynamite?
The best thing about that game, Fallout New Vegas does something that I don't think any other game has ever come close to doing at their level, which is each faction holds you in their own regard. So it doesn't matter if you're a good person or a bad person. They only care about how you have interacted with their faction. Have you helped us? Have you hindered us? And like going through and looking at the comparisons between what my decisions were and your decisions were. And I know we're going to talk about this 100 times. It was funny to me every single time. But like you would just be walking down a random road and somebody would just be like, can you believe that fuck ass sheriff in Prim that they put into office? And you would just like hit quick save, turn around, slow turn, and be like,
quick save.
What did you just say?
What the fuck did you just say? Yeah, can you believe that fucking idiot who fucking put the NCR in charge of the Prim? I was like, oh, I'll never forget that one where I thought I wasn't going to hear him anymore. I was in Vegas and I was down in that fucking Vault 20 whatever. And that guy goes, can you believe this fucking, I was like, quick save, shotgun, fucking vatsed him right in the fucking skull, blew his head off, and then immediately reloaded mid like he's dying. And that's like my fucking me imagining it in my head, like, I'm killing you in my mind, but I have to leave now.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to fight my way out of Vegas.
And the best part of that was, it wasn't like you took the easy way out, right? Like, if anything, people should have been mad at me because I was just like, I'm not dealing with this. This quest is stupid. I'm just going to hijack that robot over there and I'm going to turn him into a sheriff. And so I used my repair skill to just turn a robot into the sheriff. And everybody was fine with that. I didn't hear anything about that. But you went on this big, long, arduous, quest to find a real sheriff and bring him back. He was imprisoned by those powder gangers, I believe.
I didn't use that guy, no. Yeah.
Oh, which one did you use?
I used NCR. That's why they were all bitching.
Oh, yeah.
I can't believe that Prim sold out to the fucking NCR. I guess we're in charge of Prim now.
Yeah. Yeah, and so it's like, if anything, you did the quote-unquote like good ending to that quest. And it's like everybody was talking about it for the rest of the game.
It wasn't good for me.
Yeah.
I'll probably say this on yes, folks, another podcast dedicated to Fallout New Vegas. But I will be saying this on that one when we talk about Prim, because I think Prim is mini Vegas, where you try out the end of the game. So it's like, do you pick the bad guys to rule, which is the guy in prison? Do you pick the NCR to rule, or do you put the robot overlord in? You see what I'm saying?
It's a good point. See, this is why it's important to have somebody like Jared in your corner because he's a classically trained artist. And so he's able to find those little allegories and connections that maybe some of you other...
Allegory, you're fucking smack your ass. Speaking of
I like Fallout because Novak, it's no vacancy.
Speaking of changing the topic. Shut up. I didn't figure that one out. You said that and I was like, oh fuck. What mean sign? That was me. The sign's right there.
How big is the door?
Maybe it's not just a sign. Maybe it's a cigar. How big is it? I launch a fucking mini nuke in fucking Prim. That should have been my final act in the game. Right in the middle. Boom, boom. I should have. Yeah, fuck.
Yeah.
So I've been game hold, right? Since, I don't know now, but I was sitting there. My kid's been begging me to play different games on the Nintendo Switch. We always play a retro game. And I beat Zelda 2 for them. And then my son's gotten full, like, Link is so cool. The fucking swords and shields. And I was like, I know, that's what I'm saying, son. And so he was like playing Ocarina of Time. And he was, he can't fucking read yet. But he's 5, folks. He'll be starting kindergarten next year. But anyway, he starts playing Ocarina of Time. He gets to the Deku Tree. He kills the first boss by himself. And I was like, holy shit. Like, I was watching him do it, and I was like, yeah, shoot up. And I was like, this is what sports parents feel like. Sword him, shoot up, son, shoot. Okay, you fucking slingshot, go for the red eye.
You're right. That's exactly what it is.
I was like standing over him. I was like, good job, go run it in. And so he's got real into Legend of Zelda. So then they started making me play A Link to the Past, and then they wanted me to play Link's Awakening, and then they wanted me to play the original Zelda. And I'm just like playing all these different Zelda games. And I'm like, oh yeah, like Zelda's pretty good, but I don't really need to play them again, So he's making me play Ocarina of Time, had a proud father moment. He comes over to me because he was playing it by himself while I was getting dinner ready. And he's got a green piece of paper, and he's written down the Song of Time, like the symbols for it. He's like, I wrote it down, but I can't do it, Dad. And I was like, you wrote it down? I'm so proud. Good job, my boy.
Yeah. That's awesome.
That's what I would have done. So we went and did that. But I've been thinking about Zelda games like a lot, and how we haven't had like a really traditional style Zelda game in I don't know how long. You and I were looking at this before we left to get Tekken, and right. I was just like, oh man, they really just haven't made a traditional style Zelda game since Breath of the Wild came out. Breath of the Wild came out. It's very non-traditional Zelda. It's very different, innovative, I guess, in a Zelda 2-like way. I'm not going to give you my whole Breath of the Wild spiel today, but I've been like craving that. And so you and I had bought this game, which I haven't got around to doing it. There was the Rogue Heroes, Runes of Tassos. Is that Zelda game? It's kind of like Four Swords, but then you had played it. How does that game work again exactly?
Well, so if I remember correctly, because it has been a little bit since I've played it, you essentially go through these little dungeon areas. Well, I guess I should say you start in this starter town, and the point of it is you go out and collect crystals, and when you come back, you use the crystals to upgrade the town. So you can build new buildings, you can get new, like a blacksmith that will get you new weapons. You can get a heroes guild that will give you new classes. You can get a medic unit that will help you upgrade your health and stuff like that. So everything that you're doing is try to bring stuff back to upgrade your hometown. But each one of these different zones that you go to, it's exactly like a Zelda game. You go to a dungeon, you fight through, you try to find whatever treasure you can there, and then you bring it back and use that to upgrade your town. And the starting guy is, not Link, but you have a sword, you have a shield, you can pick up bombs, you can pick up a hook shot, and he's got like a charging attack that you can rush forward with. It's Zelda. I mean, that's Zelda. And you can obviously upgrade from that and go away from that, which I did. I really liked the mage class. I thought the mage class was very fun. But you're still doing the same things. Like, even as a mage, I was still doing those same things. I was just doing them from the perspective of a mage. So, like, instead of having a hook shot, I had a very short range teleport. Instead of having like a boomerang, I had a spell that would do a similar effect. Instead of having a charging attack, I had a spell that could do those things for me. So you're still getting the same effect. You just have a different coat of paint, essentially. And then obviously at the end of each one of those dungeons, there's a boss fight, and you do the boss fight. They give you a shard, and you go back to the main town, and that's how you upgrade the town. But it's very similar to, most Zelda games.
There's two other indie games that I was thinking about for this Zelda topic thing. I think we've probably talked about it before, but the other one that I played was Moonlighter.
Oh yeah,
it's like a roguelike Zelda game where you're a shopkeeper. It's really cool. I've not finished it, but that was one that I played. I think that one, I don't know how old it is now. And then there's another one that I played was Blossom Tales, the Sleeping King.
Okay.
I had to look that up because I couldn't remember the subtitle or whatever. And that one, the Blossom Tales is like a straight up like Zelda-esque clone, very indie. It's like a storybook, but it plays like a Zelda game. Pretty cool. But I really haven't seen a Zelda game. I guess I've not really been looking, though.
Yeah.
I think that's part of it. And so Square Enix does this announcement that they're putting out this game. It's called fucking golly, I gotta pull it up because it's like super new. The Adventures of Elliot, the Millennium Tales. And so I go to boot this fucking demo up after playing Zelda game after Zelda game after Zelda game in the last like 2 weeks on the side in between playing Fallout New Vegas, which I'd spent a bunch of time yesterday and today after completing New Vegas, playing Ocarina of Time, and then playing Link's Awakening, the Game Boy Advance game. Not the remake. I don't have that one. I should get it, but so I boot up this fucking game, and it's like a fucking Zelda game. And I was like, what the fuck? Square Enix put out a fucking Zelda game? I mean, it's not a Zelda game, but it's like one. You got the blade beam, you get a boomerang, you have heart pieces. I mean, they're teardrop shaped, like red teardrop shaped, so I guess blood. You look like a fucking red mage, which is sick as fuck. There seems to be some sort of like fairy Navi thing going on with this princess chick starts talking to you through your earrings. Princess. Oh my God. There's beast folk. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, I was just like thoroughly impressed with this because I was just like thinking about Zelda games. And there's all these like ROM hacks and stuff that I want to look into for Zelda games. But I don't know, man. It's been so long.
Yeah.
Since I played a game that like gave a shit about like biomes and puzzles and temples and boss fights and just like intricate systems where you pick up items and then you have to like use that to progress in the environment, similar to like a fucking Metroidvania or something. I never really thought about that until now that Zelda does this, where you go to a temple and you get the boomerang, and now boomerang solves a lot of your problems. And then slowly as you go through the adventure, boomerang is still referenced and still used in your adventure, but you build these skills as you go through each temple in a Zelda game. And I was just like, oh my God, is Square Enix gonna take fucking The Legend of Zelda from fucking Nintendo? What the fuck?
That would be crazy.
I was kind of excited about it, though. I was like, wow.
Like, in my mind, Zelda is not my brand. Much in the same way that that you kind of came over onto my side of the court and played Fallout New Vegas. Playing a Zelda game, that's me coming over onto your side of the court. But the one that I have all of my reference to is Wind Waker. And
what a
in
good
my
game.
mind, I really believe that is like, there's a lot of throwing stuff around like, oh, Zelda, it's a 10 out of 10 and a 10 out of 10. I genuinely believe that Wind Waker is a 10 out of 10. And it's exactly what you said, which is you have to use the context of the game to beat the game. And a lot of those like roguelike games, roguelike, I think you and I are both very sensitive to those because we can see the gaps in the game. We can see the lines in the sand where it's like, that's not real. You know, like that's not, I don't even know how to describe it. Like when you're playing Wind Waker, everything feels tailor-made and handmade to, like if you're playing it as a kid, like you were saying, like a toddler is playing this game, or if you're a grown man playing it, you can figure out the game by using your imagination, your logic, your skills, all of that stuff. Where I think a roguelite, you know, that tagline of like, well, it's infinitely replayable because it'll never be the same twice. I don't want a game to be that. I want a game to reward me for remembering something. Or like you said, you know, watching your son take notes and being like having that memory flashback of like, I took notes when I played Zelda. Like that to me is so cool to hear of that. You didn't tell him to do that.
No, I didn't. That's why I was shocked. I was like, what the fuck?
The game didn't tell him to do that. It was just a natural, like, I'm so absorbed in this world and this game, I'll write it down and I'll take notes and maybe, you know, maybe dad can do it for me or maybe I can do it later once I've gotten better skills. That's what Legend of Zelda is to me. Like in my mind, that's what it is. I don't care if it's Zelda on a boat. I don't care if it's Zelda and he's got a, you know, Twilight Princess type of deal. I don't care if it's him Skyward Sword. I don't care about any of that stuff. The core of Zelda is and will always be the same. And kind of like what you said, when they started getting away from that and going into this open world and weapons degrade and you have infinite bombs, but your Master Sword breaks. It's like, what? That's not Zelda, man. Like, and granted, I have no ground to stand on. I get it. But at the same time, I think there are certain things, certain fundamental things that make a game a game. And if it's not going to be that, call it something else. And we've had that, you know, complained about this constantly with like Final Fantasy and Resident Evil and all of that stuff. When does a game stop becoming the game series? And when do they just slap a name on it to get sales? But to me, Legend of Zelda is such an iconic series and it's survived because of that, because it's so important. Regardless of whether you're a Sony gamer or a Sega gamer or, you know, whatever, you're on PC, it doesn't matter. You know what Nintendo has and what they do, and you can tell when a game is a 10 out of 10 because it reaches that other sector of people who don't care about those things. They're like, hey, I do? Let me look at that. And when you showed me that game from Square Enix, the name is eluding me right now, but that's what it reminded me of. It reminded me of that old school Legend of Zelda type of feel. And if it takes Square Enix stealing it from Nintendo, then I'm all for it. Go ahead.
It doesn't give me the exact same feeling as Zelda. Like classic Zelda games always had this, even though I know like almost every nook and cranny of some of my favorite Zelda games, when I'm standing in a room in a Zelda game, it's not like Doom where there could be a hidden room anywhere and, you know, you got to run around to every corner and jam the fucking, you know, left click or whatever to find it. But Zelda games, I always had, like, if it has this feeling of mystery, like something mystical, like there's something more here. Surely there's something more here, but I know there's not. But that feeling that there is, and I think that that's always been the quintessential, like, Zelda experience for me, is like I start playing and I can go anywhere I want, but there are goals that I need to accomplish in kind of an order, which is not, you know, traditionally, I guess I should say Zelda 1, you could go to any temple at any time. For the most part. I mean, some temples you can't get to without certain items, but you could go into a temple, get that item, not beat the temple, and then go beat the other one first, which I think is hilarious. You can go to like Temple 3 and get to fucking silver boomerang, the magic boomerang. I think that's funny. There's a train going by.
Great. Train, you think? Oh, I just doxed us. Delete
It's
it.
okay. I was going to try to cut it out. Stop blowing your horn. Anyway. Yeah, whatever you're going to say. I fucking lost my shit.
No, you're good. It pulled me out too. I was like locked in, and that took me out. You had said something about Doom, and that made me think. I was thinking about something there.
Searching for hidden rooms in Doom.
That's
like,
what it was.
Oh yeah, what could be in here? I have to push the button everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, like those older games. I think that's what you nailed it. That sense of mystery and desire to be a part of the world. You know, the thing that I think you and I really liked about Fallout New Vegas was the start of the game. You and the character are in the same place, which is neither one of you knows what's going on. And so together you both learn the story. And I love that idea of you and the character are one and the same, where you're both learning about this world together. And I think the thing that Legend of Zelda does such a good job of is it threads that line so well of like mystique and kind of this ethereal world where there's a hint of magic. You know, you've got these goblins, you've got kind of these mystical forces that are working behind the scenes. But then there's also just like regular people. You know, there's people living on a farm, or there's people who raise horses. And I love that. That to me is the sign of a well-designed game, is a game that you can exist and be a part of. And it's not like everybody is just staring at you when you walk into town and it's like, the hero is here. What do you need from me? Can I give you my, sword and my rupees and my gold and my stuff? I don't want that. I want to be a part of a world, and you ease me into it, and you tell me the rules and the restraints, and then I become a part of that. That to me is a good universe and a good game to explore.
They got like weird names for they were called moblins. Now they call them bokoblins.
Okay.
They're kind of not the same thing anymore, but I was just thinking about that.
Yeah. But I mean, even that is a great example of like, I love games that respect you enough to be like, hey, here's the bestiary. Learn about each one of our enemies' weaknesses and how to fight them and how to get good at fighting them and all of that stuff. It's not go out and get the best sword in the game and now all of a sudden you just whack them with a 3-hit combo. You know, I know, especially in like Wind Waker, even it was much more about like environmental interpretation and kind of like interacting with that, where they're carrying around these exploding barrels full of gasoline and you can light them on fire, and that, because they're just dumb goblins that are just doing goblin stuff. And so you can interact with the world in that way and beat them. Whereas, maybe a bigger, smarter enemy, they're not going to do that.
Yeah. There is a lot of good qualities to the new Zelda games. I mean, I put 120 plus, probably more than 120 hours into Breath of the Wild. Just having similar experiences, but mostly getting to a precipice where it's like, not that's disappointing. That isn't going in that line the way that I want. It's like my opinion, about it. I still think it's a very good game, but it's just not. It's not what I expect from Zelda. And I mean, maybe that's not a bad thing. I just could just be an old man and I just need to go back and play the old Zelda games, which I would love to. I was thinking about going on a run since I beat Zelda 2. I was like, well, maybe I'll just beat Zelda 1 again. And then I'll play fucking Link to the Past again. I've always loved to play. Every summer I used to go to my grandma's, and when we were staying there for 3 weeks, I'd be like, I'm going to beat this in a day. And then I would remember, oh, you can't beat Zelda. You can't beat a Link to the Past in a day. It's a fucking long ass game.
Right.
This is a Mega Man X, man. Chill. Right. But you can run through the first couple temples in a day when you're a little kid and you have no other responsibilities.
Yeah. I think you and I are both the same in that whenever we see cracks in a game, especially games that we're very passionate about, we want to fill in those gaps ourselves and be like, this is kind of our homebrew OC do not steal. This is what I would do if I were given the keys to the kingdom. And, like my interpretation of Fallout 4, I think is very similar to your interpretation of Breath of the Wild, which is it's a fun game. It's a fun game to play, but I don't think it does service to the games that came before it, or, whatever. The story might not be there. And that's okay. I think we are just, like you said, we're graybeards, old men shouting at the sky, and we're like, this isn't perfect. This isn't a 10 out of 10. And it's not to us, but maybe it is to somebody else. And I don't know. That's just the flaw of having a game be that big, is you can't please everybody. So do you choose to please the diehard old school gamers, or do you try to appease that next generation of kids coming up and try to appease them? I don't know what the right answer is there, but it definitely feels like we're getting kicked in the shin a little bit on these the last series of our favorite game series.
Yeah, and I do think that the industry itself is coming to similar conclusions, or at least at first I think they were like, oh, people will grow up and grow out of this hobby, and that's just not what has happened. And then the development cycles of these games went from like a year to 5 years, and now you're missing that window of getting young people involved in a series or the hobby itself. They're waiting like 5 years for what, something they played in their formative years, and they were like, wow, that was my favorite game. And then 5 years later, oh yeah, I remember that game. Should I buy that? I don't know if I should buy that. And then they don't, or they do, I don't know. And then people like you and I are like, it's not a fucking this type of game. I don't want to buy that. Or we're like, oh shit, my favorite game. It's not as good as the original, but still pretty good.
Exactly.
So maybe that's why we see so many of those remakes and things, because they're like trying to recapture people in here's the best of the series. Young people play this old game that's so good in preparation for this game that's going to be coming out in 5 years. And then people like you and me are like, hey, shit, Final Fantasy fucking Tactics got a remake. That's pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's so weird to me because, obviously I have no clue what I'm talking about. I'm a consumer. I'm not on the development side. I don't know what
wish we were.
Don't know what exactly. I don't know what the numbers are. I don't know what the boardroom talks are like, but it felt like when PlayStation 1 era of gaming, it was okay to make a crappy game. If a game sucked, it was like, well, we'll get them next time. We tried something crazy, it didn't work. We'll get them next time. And now, like you said, when a game takes 5 years to make and it's this AAA game that costs hundreds of millions of dollars, you can't mess up. We've seen that in the past. Ubisoft had billions of dollars in negative revenue where they lost money making bad games. Bungie, I think just today announced that they're shutting down Destiny 2, and that's a huge loss for Sony. And even that right there, Sony has taken huge hits gambling on these live service games that don't work out. And it's like I think something is lost in translation there, where what do gamers want versus what do the people who are making games want to make? And I think everybody wants to make Fortnite, and they want to have this business model where everything's a battle pass and give me money and I'll make a good game later. And that's not what consumers want. Consumers want to hand you $60 and you give me a game and it's my game and I get to play it. And that's just not what AAA games are anymore. I hate that disconnect there, where there is no feedback between the two spaces. And so I don't know how to fix that. Obviously we're just shouting at the sky, like I said, but Zelda is a really good example of that. And I think you could go back even further and say, look at a lot of the last couple Nintendo releases. I don't think Metroid Prime 4 hit the way that anybody wanted. I don't know anything about the Donkey Kong game, but I know that the Mario, I can't remember what it was called. It was the golfing game and the tennis game. Those did not sell well. And we've talked numerous times about how good the GameCube version of Nintendo sports games were. So where is the disconnect between like them making a game that should be good? We, the consumers, are like, oh, I want that game. Here's my money. Please give it to me. And then there's no connection there. I don't know. I don't know what that is with the Nintendo.
Without researching the topic further, I don't know if I could give a great answer on that.
Yeah.
But Nintendo themselves, I did read one article. I don't know if I could find it again, where a former Nintendo employee was talking about how they don't like sit down and make a game like this is going to be a Donkey Kong game. They just make a really fun like mechanic, and then they're like, okay, which one of our IPs will fit this? And then they slap that on there. Now, I don't know if that's true or if that's just, but I mean, to have that in my mind when I'm looking at a Nintendo game, sometimes I'm like, maybe that's what that was.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just have a hard time knowing that. No, hold on. Zero just sent me a text. He says he's home and he's ready.
Oh, okay. Well, tell him to get his ass on the game.
Well, I'm going to go reheat some of that food. Sorry, folks, that we're cutting you off in the middle of our Nintendo thoughts, but we got to get to this Tekken match. So I'm going to go reheat my food. You go ahead and get on the game, and I'll be right back. I just that sandwich sounded really good, and I just really want. And now, Hoosier Main presents tonight's main event between the two contenders. A special exhibition match in Tekken 8. Anthony versus Marco!
It only took a century.
Excuse me?
All this for a quick ass whooping. Sheesh.
Get ready for the next battle.
I'll have you know I've been practicing. Watch.
Fight.
Yes! Help me! Haha! Oh, wait. I was ready. Oh my god! Yeah, you thought I was gonna hit.
Yarn.
That one didn't count. I wasn't looking. Oh, wait a minute. I had my controller plugged into the second port. Let me plug it back into the first one. There we go.